Hello, wonderful world of the interwebs and YouTube. This is Maya. Welcome back to my channel. We have some things to talk about. Basically, it has been 2 years since I started playing the cello. I'm honestly in shock that it's been that long, because it doesn't feel like it, and I don't feel like I sound like it, so apologies in advance. But yeah, it's been 2 years since I started playing the cello, and basically I am making this video to give you guys a bit of an update. Now, I made a video during the first year that I played cello. I recorded monthly logs leading up until an entire year of cello playing, and I ended up uploading that about 6 months ago. But that was a year ago that I finished that video, and it just took me forever to edit it. I have not done the same thing this year. I don't have monthly logs. I'm just making this video because I decided it was just a lot for me to keep up with, and at the time I had like 20 subscribers, so I didn't figure it was a big deal. But I feel like it's a bit of a bigger deal now, so I'm sorry that I have not kept up with that, but I'm here now, and I'm going to do a bit of an update video. Because, yeah, it's been 2 years, and I figured I should probably upload this. Anyway, before I get into the actual playing, I do want to talk about some things. Basically, I think I just hit 175 subscribers, which to most of you will not sound like a big deal, but to me that's really, really crazy because I made this channel kind of so that I could document my own life and so that I could look back on the videos I made and, you know, reflect on what I was doing at the time. I never expected other people to actually watch my videos, even though I'm putting them online. Like, I don't know, it just, when you have 20 subscribers, you're just like, oh yeah, they're just close friends and family, it's not that big a deal. And it's still not that big of a deal because I literally only have 175, but it feels like a big deal to me. So thank you so much for those of you who are watching my videos. That's kind of crazy insane. I'm blown away by the support I've had from my videos, and what blows me away even more is the response I got to my 1 year of cello video. And that's largely the reason I'm making this one. Basically, when I made that video, I meant it to be a reflection for me. When I uploaded that video, I didn't expect anyone to watch it, and very much the opposite has happened. As of right now, it has over 11,000 views, which is more than like the rest of my channel combined. It has 209 likes and 9 dislikes. It has 60 comments. Which is really crazy. I'm sorry, I'm just like really kind of anxious about it, I guess, because I mean obviously it's a reflection of how I was playing cello at the time, but like because I'm an adult beginner basically, I started playing when I was almost 17 years old, which is very, very late to start playing, so I feel like, I don't know, I feel like people expect me to be better than I am because of my age, and then I don't want to disappoint people, but I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's a lot though. Thank you for the people who have watched that video. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it in the description, so go ahead and watch that one first. You don't need to watch it all the way through. It is very long because, again, it's something I made for myself more so than for people on the internet, and it ended up being my most popular video. So yeah, basically that has blown up a lot, which is really surprising. Thank you for those of you who have commented, but I wanted to cover a couple of things in this video from that video, because there have been a lot of comments, and I try to respond to comments, but some people do comment the same thing and maybe not see my response to the other person's comment, so I figured I'd just talk about them in this video real quick before I get into the update. So basically, though I posted that 6 months ago, it was actually a full year ago, so this video is a reflection of me a year ago, and I have improved since then. So while I appreciate your comments of giving me tips and stuff, a lot of times they're a bit unnecessary because I am still working on cello and I'm still improving, and I do have a private instructor who is helping me learn to play the cello. So while I appreciate it, and feel free to comment on that because other people who are beginning cellists will probably be helpful about it. if there's already a comment about it, you don't necessarily need to bring it up again, because I do read all of your comments. I try to respond to as many as I can, and yeah, basically I am working on it. So I appreciate you pointing it out there, because other people seeing the video might not realize that, and it's helpful, and I really do appreciate having that criticism. But just on my last video, that was a year ago, and more than a year ago for me, so basically if it's already been commented upon, then I've already seen the comments, so you don't necessarily need to remind me of that. So responding to some of the comments that I'm talking about, a lot of people have been pointing out my left arm position in the video. I know that has been my instructor's biggest pet peeve. It's been my biggest pet peeve, because I don't realize I'm doing it all the time, and it's still a bit of a problem keeping it out here instead of, because I was playing pretty much like this. Keeping out there, I've gotten better at it, but I do still slip sometimes. That is something I'm very, very aware of. It's something I've been told by everyone, and I am working on fixing it, but once you develop a habit, it's harder to break it than to form it, so I'm working on it. Give me a bit of time. That is very much at the forefront of my mind when I'm practicing. Another thing people have been commenting is making sure I listen to recordings of the music I am playing. I have been doing that recently, especially since I've started university. I've been paying a lot more attention to the style of the music I've been playing, and I do listen to the recordings. I do know the recordings. I know of like Pablo Casal's, Jacqueline Dupre, the really talented cellists that are, you know, my icons, basically. I have been listening to the recordings, and I was aware of them. It's just, when you are a beginning cellist, if you attempt repertoire that is outside of your expertise level, I'm obviously not going to sound like Pablo Casal's when I've been playing for a year. I know the recordings, I'm aware of them, I try to keep them in mind, but one thing that's very, very difficult for me is how to make myself sound more musical. Playing the notes has gotten easy over this past year, but easier, at least, over this past year, but I am definitely struggling to sound musical and to be a musician rather than someone who's just reading notes. And that is, again, along with my hand positioning and my technique improving, it's one of the main focuses for me in 2018. I want to really fundamentalize my technique, and I want to learn to play with musicality. Because the main difference between someone who plays an instrument and someone who's a musician is that sense of musicality when they're playing, and that's something I haven't developed yet, especially on cello. So I'm really, really working on it. It's something that can't really be taught, I guess. It's something that comes with experience and comes with really knowing your instrument. So I'm really working on it, but it's hard. Anyway, to summarize, I've listened to the recordings, I will continue listening to the recordings, but as of right now, my main focus is, you know, developing my technique and just playing as much as possible, because the more I play, I think the easier it will be to develop that sense of musicality and understand how the music is supposed to feel as opposed to just the notes that are coming out. I don't have a tuner today, but I always practice with a tuner in front of me 24/7. I practice with a metronome and a tuner because I really, really want to get it to sound perfect, and I'm not there yet, and I know I'm not there yet, but I am working on it. So yes, my tuning, I think it has improved, but it's definitely still got a long ways to go. Keep in mind, I've only been playing for 2 years, so I think it's okay to still have problems like that as long as I'm aware of them and I'm working towards fixing them. So some of the questions have been about my cello itself, and have been talking about buying a cello and that sort of thing. So over the course of the video, I actually used 2 cellos. One comment mentioned not buying a cello right away if you're just beginning. I did not buy a cello right away. I don't think anyone really noticed, but I switched cellos in October of last year because I actually bought this one. I was starting on a rental instrument, and the credit from that rental would go towards if I decided to buy that instrument or another instrument. So I ended up using that credit to get this instrument. This is a used cello. It's by maker Anton Schroeder, and it's from roughly 1930s Germany. Great, there's a really loud piano next to me. I'm gonna try to talk over that. I'm sorry, I am in a practice room. I can't control that. I do recommend renting before you own, because I had no idea if I was actually going to like the cello when I started renting it. So when you buy one, I recommend looking into used. When you're renting, see if where you rent through has a rent-to-own program, because oftentimes you can pay the rental cost, and then if you decide to own the instrument, everything you've paid for rentals will go towards that payment, so it's a little bit lower. And then, as in the case with mine where I rented from, you were allowed to use that credit towards other instruments. If you didn't want to buy the one you were renting, you could use the credit for a better instrument. So look into that if you want to play any instrument. A renting-to-own program is generally a good bet when you're starting out. And if you have a private teacher, always ask for their opinion before you purchase a cello. I went to the shop with my cello instructor. They had, I think, 3 or 4 used instruments that we were looking at, and he helped me make the right decision. Especially as a beginner, when you're not fully sure what to be looking for, having an outside opinion or having a really good cellist play your cello is very, very helpful to the process. Ooh, just dropped my phone. Anyone who has viewed that video or is viewing this video who's just starting on cello or who's in a similar position to me, whether you're better than me, which is probably the case, worse than me, or somewhere around the same level as me, just know that everyone learns at their own pace, and my pace might be faster than yours, my pace might be slower than yours, it's probably slower than yours. This is also not my first instrument. I played flute for about 3.5 years before I started playing cello, so that has helped me. So if you are starting cello as your first instrument, sometimes it's a lot more difficult since you don't have that sense of music already. Always take everything you see with a grain of salt, I guess. Just know that you are not going to be the same as anyone else at your instrument. It's one of the special things about playing an instrument is everyone does it differently, and everyone learns differently, everyone improves differently. So rather than comparing yourself to the developments of others, compare yourself to yourself. As long as you still feel like you're improving and you still feel like you are achieving what you want to achieve, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. So yeah. I just have one more thing I wanted to talk about before I actually got into the playing, which is obviously what you guys are here for, so I'm sorry for the rant. But a lot of people on my last video also commented asking me why I decided to play Bach as my first piece, and why I was trying to play such a difficult repertoire. The short answer is because I'm stupid. The long answer is because it's a cello, so obviously the one song everyone knows about on the cello is Bach's prelude to his first suite for unaccompanied cello. So obviously me knowing zero about cello other than what I saw from a couple of Piano Guys videos and Bach's unaccompanied cello suite number 1, obviously would be like, I'm gonna buy a cello and learn to play Bach. When I filmed the very first video, it was before I had had any lessons. It was the day I bought a cello. I didn't start lessons until the week after. So I got home, I played some open strings, I had a little book that had some bowings in it, so I tried to play a scale, and then because it was literally the only cello repertoire I had ever heard of when I started playing, I looked up the Bach unaccompanied cello suite and found a totally not legit version on the internet. I do have a legit version now, and I figured why not? And then because that was the only song I had played in the first video, I wanted to have a song progression, so I was kind of stuck with it for the rest of the year, and probably about 2 or 3 months in, I was like, this is not gonna happen for another 15 years, but I had to stick with the tradition, I guess, so I finished it off even though I knew it's outside of my range, and I know it's outside of my range, and I probably won't be attempting it again for a while because I do not have the talent for it. But yeah, basically the reason I was playing Bach is because when I bought my cello, the first thing I did was look up Bach because it was the only thing I knew, and then I was kind of stuck with it for the next 12 months. So yeah, basically, short story, long, I'm stupid, and it was the only thing I knew. Okay, let's get on to current stuff now, because that was all from the last video. So, hello. I'm Maya, I am 18, it's the 25th of January 2018, and it has been 2 years since I started playing cello. I am currently a first-year music student at university. Woo! I am studying music. I am studying cello. I'm doing practical musicianship on the cello. I will have a recital at the end of this year, which will determine whether or not I pass the grade. Which is stressful because I'm really not that good. But yeah, I am studying cello at a university level. I decided not to go with flute even though I'm better at flute. I prefer the cello and I figured, why not? That being said, I've only been playing for 2 years, so don't expect me to be a grade 8 musician because I'm really not. I'm actually double majoring with English, but the music half I have been focusing on cello. So yeah, I've been playing for 2 years, I'm studying music at university, and I have some goals for this next year, which hopefully I will be able to put into action, and I've mentioned some of them about my problems currently. One of my main goals is to really harden down my technique, make sure that I'm playing correctly. I really want to get better and more fluent at reading tenor clef, get better and more fluent at shifting up, especially up past 4th position, because anything past 4th position, my thumb doesn't know what to do. I want to learn thumb position this year. I've still not learned thumb position, unfortunately. That's definitely on the list for this year, and I want to get a better, more consistent vibrato on all of my fingers as opposed to just the 2nd and 3rd, because I have a inconsistent, pretty crap vibrato on 2 of my fingers, and I want to at least get all 4 and get them fluid. And then my other main goal is to just be able to play with more musicality and be able to have a portfolio of more than just a few songs that I can play with confidence for auditions, for recitals, that sort of thing, because I really don't have a lot of repertoire right now that I can play. So that's one thing I really want to build. I want to build my portfolio, I want to build my technique, and I want to build my musicality. So those are basically my goals for this year. I'm hoping I can achieve them, or at least get myself on a track towards achieving them, and I still want to keep playing the cello for the next 100 years or so. So yeah, those are my goals for 2018. That's where I'm at. I'm so sorry for the fact that pianists don't know how to take a hint. And let's play some music. Oh, one more thing. Because my cello videos have been getting so much notice recently, I'm thinking of doing a lot more with cello. So rather than just doing a yearly update, doing some cello stuff and maybe doing some covers, I have some cello arrangements that I've written out. I just haven't recorded them or uploaded them. So if you would like to see me start doing some covers and start doing some more videos, or maybe perhaps uploading updates monthly as opposed to yearly, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think, and I think that would actually be helpful for me and make me a little bit less nervous when I'm filming these videos, because right now I'm quite nervous about playing in front of people. And yeah, so if you want to see more cello videos from me, feel free to let me know down below, or if you have a song that you think would be really cool on cello. Also, speaking of covers, most of the ones I've written are multiple part, and I don't have an editor that can do split screen. I'm currently using, at least I don't think it can do split screen, I'm currently using DaVinci Resolve, the free version. If you know of an editor that's good, that can do split screen or like 4 screen or whatever, that's either relatively cheap or free, let me know in the comments, because I am interested in doing cello covers at some point, and it'd be great to have that program. Okay, I'm really done this time. Let's play. Okay, so that probably wasn't very much playing, but that's kind of all I've got at this particular moment in time. Hopefully you can at least hear a little bit of improvement from the 1 year. I feel like I have improved, I'm just not sure if it's audible. I feel like I'm grasping a better understanding for how my instrument works and how my fingers are supposed to move, and I feel like I'm still improving, but obviously it's only year 2 and I'm not there yet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this update. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't, because why not? And yeah, that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me, and until next time, this is Maya signing out. Or is it?